Yeah, listen, Scott, I love him. I think he's just getting better and better. I'm with you. I think centrally, that's where he's at his best. He's powerful. He's got pace. He's got a brilliant football brain, and he's now starting to add goals to his game, which for me, any midfielder who can get in between 12 and 15 goals a season, they're a top midfielder. I think it's one that Rangers need to get him tied down again in a long-term contract. For me, he's I just love watching him play, and as I said, I just see so much improvement in his game. Even for last season, I think he's been Rangers' best player this season. And for me, centrally, I don't think there's a better player at this moment in time in Scotland in central midfield than Joe Aribo.
Fantastic finish, Leanne, yesterday, wasn't it?
Excellent. Yeah, and I would agree with Barry. I think if he can start adding numbers like that to his game, it will take his game to another level. And he's probably an unsung hero, I reckon, because he's not one of the names that gets mentioned every weekend. You know, I think there's always names in the Rangers team. Kamara gets spoke about a lot, Morelos, just now Kent, because he's linked in terms of a move away. I think he's outstanding. I think his footwork, especially tight areas, the way he takes the ball. I think he's an athlete overall as well. He's got every aspect of his game, and I know Scott's saying he doesn't like him maybe having to do that defensive side of the game, but he can do that as well, and he can defend for the front. But he's certainly an outlet and a huge player for Rangers.
Scott, I'm just looking, he's got 4 goals this season, which I find really incredibly disappointing for him, because that, in many ways, I guess that's the missing link for him at the moment. I mean, he could have had a hat-trick against Sparta Prague on Thursday night, couldn't he? The areas he got into, the chances he had, and he's going to be one major asset for Rangers, isn't he, when he adds goals as well as everything else he does?
Yeah, as you said, he missed a handful of chances against Sparta Prague. I remember one against, I think it was Dundee. I know he scored, but I think he missed another one away. And he could be in already 7-8 goals for a midfielder. And I think in a 4-2-3-1, him either on the right hand side and Hadji in the 10, or him in the 10 and Hadji on the right, I think those two can interchange. I think saw Kent go out to the right as well yesterday. I think him along that front three will be a massive asset to Gio in pushing us to the title again, and hopefully beyond last 32 Europa League as well.
I know a lot of Rangers fans are worried about they're going to lose their best players, a Morelos, a Kent, a Barisic, a Nathan Patterson, but for me it's Joe Aribo. He never gets mentioned.
Would he be top of your list?
Yes, 100%. As I said, Rob, I just think he's getting better and better every time I watch him. He just improves. As I said, that 4 goals that you've just mentioned there, yeah, I'm sure he would be disappointed with that. He would expect a bit more, but now he's starting to get the goals. I thought his finish against Livingston was brilliant. Great finish, and if he starts scoring goals, his price is just going to rocket. But for me, that's the one that I think teams will be looking at. Joe Aribo.
I think he's
because
one
he
of
can
those...
play anywhere, Leanne.
Yeah.
He can play centrally. As Scott's just mentioned, Steven Gerrard used him the right side against Celtic, remember, just to stop them from getting forward. So he's adaptable. He can play anywhere across the middle, but just all round top football player for me.
People talk about Glenn Kamara and the great business that he was, and obviously he was 50 grand from Dundee. But I'm just looking at Joe Aribo here. He joined in the summer of 2019 on freedom of contract from Charlton, and basically Rangers had to pay a cross-border development fee, Barry, £300,000. Now, what's Joe Aribo worth now?
Oh, you're looking well over £10 million. Yeah. It depends, Rob, how long he's got left in his contract. Now, I think he might have a couple of years. I'm not sure.
I think that's why it's important what you're saying, Barry, to get him on a longer contract and accept the fact that at some point he probably will attract attention and move on. But at least at that point, you've had a brilliant investment in his future, and that comes back into the club.
You always know you've got a real chance of losing your best players if they perform really well up here. There's teams down in England that are going to come in and pay big money, but for me, you're looking at well over £10 million for Joe Aribo.
Tell Alexa to launch Go Radio or listen on the Go Radio app.